Hey everybody. Alright, so when we left off with our part 1 lesson, we got right up to this part, so I suggest you watch part 1 before you watch this because none of this will make a lot of sense without part 1. So check that out. So for everybody who's here from part 1, let's just get into part 2. Um, Continuing exploring this chord shape here up the neck and seeing what we get. So I've decided that we're just going to kind of fill this in as we go. So that's going to take a little bit of extra time here, but I'll see how it works. So there's our chord shape, and there is our. I'm trying to get my thoughts together here. There's all our intervals. So basically, what do we got here? The first thing we do is we analyze like what's our pool here? What's it telling us about our possibilities here? So we have a 2, a flat 3, a 5, and a flat 7. So the first thing we notice is we have no root in this chord. So okay, that's going to give us 4 um, other tones. That's kind of cool. The root is in the tonal gravity, the E. Hardware issue to deal with here. All right, so that's a flat third. Sounds about right. Flat 7. There's the root, so flat 7. A 2 and a 5. See, it sounds real congruent. The 2 gives it a nice spacey character. It's the equivalent of also playing this. Alright, put my middle finger up here on the fifth string at the 7th fret and basically complete this chord here with making it a what do we got here? It's a minor 9 chord, right? Like I have written here. So the 2 you can think of as a 9. It'll work to substitute or to comp in for a minor 9 chord. That'll get you in the door. So that's kind of cool. That's a nice uh, kind of neat variety to have here. Not only do we have minor, but we have a minor 9, and that's what I based my song off of. That hopefully I'll remember to link in this video. But so we have flat third to flat 7. We have all the makings of a minor chord with the 2 there, the 9. So what do we get if we add in our scale choice here? Since we already know what's going on here, it's no need to make any new colors here. We'll just go like this. We'll fill in our pentatonic framework here. So if we needed something quick, I know I need a minor 9. Cool stuff. All right, so that was just playing this pentatonic framework real quick, real easy to find. Just everything great about it. So what do we get here if we add in our darker scale? That's pretty much what we want to know here. Next, we know how to create a 7-note scale here, and we're going to get some kind of mode out of this. So what can we get here? We got the continue. We go here, hear ye, hear ye. All right, so what do we get? So after a 2, what do we get? We get a flat third, and we knew that because that's there. That's always going to be there. We talked about that on our last lesson. So 4, a 5. What do we get after the 5? We're going to have a flatted 6. We're not going to flatted 56. A flatted 6 because we're not going to call it a sharp 5 because we already have a 5. So we have flatted 7. After a flatted 7, what do you get? You get a root. With that regular 7 hanging out, it has a don't play note. Alright, so, or play with great precision. So, you get this, what do we get? We get a flat third, flat 6. We got a whole scale here, so we'll just write it out here, but I think we can all see pretty much right now that looks like it's Aeolian. So we would have a root, we have a 2, flat third, regular 4, regular 5, flatted 6, flatted 7, back to the root for a grand total of $3,000. We have the makings of a regular old, good old generic Aeolian scale. So with darker gets us Aeolian. So where can we write that? So we'll just go equals. We'll put it up here. Aeolian. So you can just write that in your notes. And what do we get with our? If we just lighten the load up here. So what we could do to speed this process up, I think, is just copy this over here. Bring it on home. There we go. Now all we got to do is delete that, erase that, and it's octave there, and now we can, and that guy too. So now we can change over to that guy and that guy and that guy. Cool. So what do we get? We get what's in front of a flat 7. A 6, right? A whole step from a 5, a 6. We're skipping the flat 6. So that's all we've done here. Is we, like we said earlier, we're just changing one note. So basically our choice box is a choice of 6s. As you can see, that's something to kind of know. So like back in shape 2, what was our choice? Our choice was a set of 5s. Regular 5 or flat 5. And then in shape 1, our choice was the 4s. So whenever you see a choice of 4s, you know that's something to do with major 7, because that's in the major scale. The major 7 is either going to be related to the major scale with a regular 4, and that's its difference, or the Lydian scale with the raised 4. That's the only two scales in that system, the major scale system, that have major 7 chords. Now that's going to confuse someone who's really, really new, but can't help that. You have to get over some basics to understand the good stuff here. All right, so there you go. We got this one down. The third one, it's really cool. It's a great sounding one. Let's jam on it a little bit. No, we didn't like that one. So if we get the raised 6, what do we get? Actually, we got the lighter scale here. So what's lighter than Aeolian? If Aeolian is attributed now with our darker scale. What do we got that's lighter, that's still minor, because we're still dealing with a flat third, right? So there's an answer in our major scale, which is Dorian. Now, if you're so new and you haven't been around my channel long enough, you've missed the lessons where I would expect that somebody would know that, but I know that there's going to be people watching this that are like, well, how Dorian, Whatian, how do I know that? What is it? And so, what does it even mean? So, there is a way to easily organize your modes. So, just hopefully somewhere on my channel here, you're able to find those lessons if you're missing that information. It's very easy to know which modes are minor, which ones are major, which ones are lighter, which ones are darker. It's very easy, but we can't go over it here. But so I just wanted to make sure that we listed that. So we raised the 6. We know that instantly, boom. The only difference between Aeolian minor and Dorian minor is that raised 6. That means this interval is here instead of here. So you would have, it's that one. Or you could have Aeolian. Sounds a little more regular. All right, let's move on. So now we've got this brown one here. What do we got? I forgot I got root 3, 4, 6. So what is that? What do we start thinking right off the bat here? I start thinking about my options. So I got it's root third tells me right away I'm dealing with something major. Okay. Major with a 4 and a 6. I can think of that as suspended. However, when you suspend something, you've usually eliminated or you're just simply not omitting the third. So this has a third, so I'm going to probably think of that 4 and that 6 more like their counterparts, the 11 and 13. So I've got kind of like a major 11, 13 thing happening here. What can I do with a major 11, 13 thing here? Well, I can plug in the scales and see what we get. So let's do that really quick. And we can also see that we kind of got the possibility here of playing. Well, never mind. I'm not going to talk about that really quick here. But let's do our thing. So we got 4. Here I'm going to just kind of skip the coloring, I think. I don't know what I'm going to do here. But I wanted to upload my lesson. I got to drive somewhere to upload it, and I wanted to have this lesson ready. So this is kind of like just trying to kind of jumped into this. But anyway, so there's our chord shape here, right? Do I need to get the right color to make it make sense? Make it make sense. All right, so there we have that. The wrong shade, but we're rolling with it. We're going to put our, we'll just go for our whole, we know our pentatonic framework is going to be here. We'll get both our scale, our simple plug-in scales. Now, folks, I did want to say in this lesson that, these, you're not stuck. These are just your most plug-in, obvious choices. You can still take some of these intervals and change them around to bend the sound, atmosphere, whatever, to whatever fits you, what you're doing. So, nobody knows what your final idea is and what would actually sound good or bad in those ideas. But if you want to sound generally like, figure out the pleasing notes from the non-pleasing notes and see why it works like it does, this will help you there. So here we go here. So we're going to use the darker scale. So actually, we've got that one wrong. All right, so we're going to go. So there's our, of course, our, and there's the sound as compared to what we were playing. You can hear that's kind of like a minor train horn sound. Train rolling down the tracks. A horn. Right? So here's this one up here. Still somewhat of a train horn sound, but a little happier sounding. So why is that? Because we have a 4. Kind of a cool sound. Spacey. We've got a root, and that fits right in. We've got a 3rd. Gives us that happy sound. We got a 6 hanging out there. Adding that sparkle at the top. The makings for a next little piece of music there, unless you guys copy it out there. But if you liked what I played there, that was the... You see, so each one of these has got some kind of atmosphere and a bunch of cool stuff you can do with it. And it leads me to feel like, hey, here's something that makes me feel like, all right, here's some things that make me, like, when I play that, I'm like, okay, this is music. This is something I can turn into music more than some chords that I'm just kind of bored with, you know, your standard everyday. Like if you're feeling bored with these ones, just they're too plain or too predictable, these are the kind of things you do. Alright, so what I was doing was going down to the 3rd. That was kind of like a resting place. See, the 4 is always like some place to go. It's kind of like the first place before getting to the 5. So I think we're major bound. So what do we get out of this? We're probably going to get some Lydian, some Ionian, who knows, maybe Mixolydian. Let's see what we got here. What happens when we go? We're got a darker scale to build here. So let's build that and see what happens here. Here's our key note here. We can start tightening this up because we kind of know these things now about the system here and how it works. So when we got this one here, we got those 2 here, we got these 2 repeating here and here, and we are all set to go. So we've got a 3, that means we have a 4 here. We know we've got the 5 there, then the 6. That must be a flatted 7. And then we have the root. And it lines up with the octave of the other root. We've got the whole thing right. And what do we have? So when we have a root, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a root, that's a lot like major. That is major, but there's something about it. It's got that flatted 7, so that's a dominant scale, right? That's a Mixolydian scale is what we have right here. So you can see why you wouldn't want to give these shapes one name, even though they start from the perspective, from like a one-dimensional perspective of just the major scale, picking them out. You could say it starts on this note, therefore this one gets this name, but it would confuse you to deeper ideas like this. This scale shape wouldn't be associated with just this note that starts with here, because you don't even really play it like that. You can play all of these notes as long as you're playing this chord with this root. I'm playing in Mixolydian. So it's got its thing there. We can go with. We could probably pull some other, rabbits out of a hat here with this thing if we added in some completely different. Like for example here, so if we added in that sharp four, we really we well 3 4. Well, we've got that four here in the. We'd have to if okay. Here is where you can make that alteration where you use this note instead. And so therefore it would be like this. Here's my. So we were here. Moving that up to here. Oops, sorry. And we're moving that up to here. So from here. So what I did there was play with this thingy, playing that Mixolydian. Then, well, actually, I didn't play that. Sorry, I moved up. We're moving on up. I played this Dorian shape. So that's Lydian. Alright, we're going to get there, so let me just stop fooling around here. Sorry. We've but as an example, there's the that chord shape with this sound. I wasn't we'll go for that. A little bit more of a recognizable Mixolydian sound. So that's going to be the key note right there. So what's the next? The one click brighter than Mixolydian. That's Aeolian. So let's see if we actually get the Aeolian scale from here. The Aeolian sound, not Aeolian. Sorry, Ionian. That's why that wasn't right. I was like, what in the Ionian? And let's see if I can get an only in Ionian. All right, so we got a 4. Here is our root, our 3rd and 6th. All right, I guess we'll go for the other ones here. We're going to have a 4 in there and a 5. And then we're going to have that raised 7 and a root. What do you know, if we raise the 7 there and keep everything else the same, we have the makings of, there's our 2. Should probably put that in there too for sensibility's sake. All right, so we have the makings of the major scale. And there it is. The root is on the E, the high E at the 12th fret there. So that makes it definitive Ionian. We make it darker. What's the next, what's the in the list of the major scales, there's 3 of them. Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. One is in the middle, Ionian. So one's on the darker side, Mixolydian, one's on the lighter side. It's brighter, more uplifting, Lydian. So you learn to match those emotions with the names, and then you know them by what they offer. And you learn them in that order, so it's easy to know what's what, where's where, what makes sense on guitar with one little thought. So, we've got Mixolydian, Ionian, all available. So, like here would be the difference. Regular major. flat 7. Play the darker version. Church of Zeppelin, yeah. With a little bit of, I don't know, I think I was thinking of Jerry Garcia when I was jamming, but that's just a thought. So yeah, there's the difference there. You don't need to color it in anymore. You got the idea there. We got the lighter. Uh, we played our this shape, our lighter shape, and we got the Ionian and Mixolydian hanging out there. Pretty cool. So let's get on to this 5. All right, 5, 2, sharp 4, and 7. There's a strange bunch of friends. When we see sharp 4, there's pretty much only one useful place. There's only one place where that occurs. And that's when you're dealing with that 4 chord. But not even in the 4 chord, but in the 4th scale, or playing the C major scale from the, or any major scale, sorry, from the 4th, starting from the 4th note of the scale. So do, re, mi, fa. So the scale I just played, C major, that would be F, fa. It's got that raised 4th. It's the only scale that manages to make that happen. And the raised 7. So if it had a flatted 7, we'd be dealing with some other kind of scale here, meaning that if we lowered that right down there, this chord would plug into like a Lydian dominant scenario. But I didn't tell you that. All right, so 5, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, doo, doo. No, so all right, so we got the 7, we got a 4. It's pretty much suggesting to me some kind of a major chord that has to do with Lydian. It's going to plug into the basically the 4 of the scale. So you're basically pigeonholed here with this one here. And I believe this is the one that only allows one scale with it. You can't go with the Aeolian on this one. Oh yeah, you can. This is the one because you can see our root note is one of the inner notes. So we don't get to move it up here, or else we're not playing with the full deck. All right, so we'll get it mapped out here. We'll get it colorized. All right, so we got here 2 sharp, $4, sharp 4, and 7. All right. Color it in, color it in. We're coloring it in. All right, so we got that. Let's just make the rest. What do we need next? We need where's our scale? It's our pentatonic right here. Boom, so easy. It's right there. Now we've got this and we've got this, and we can't go with the scale that would bring this one up here because this is the root note that we're dealing with, our tonal gravity. A very important, most important tonal gravity is right there, 5. This is going to be a regular 6 to the 7. And this basically fills out our scale and informs us of where and what we're doing. It's 2. It's going to be we're skipping the flat 3rd, right? So we got a major 3rd. And this is going to give us, if we plug it in like it plugs into the major scale, only in this one place, as opposed to this particular root, then we've got this basic choice for us too. What are we playing? Well, let's analyze it. We have a root. We have a 2, okay. We have a 3, that's a major scale, okay. So then we have a sharp 4, oh, okay. That's like a Lydian scale. So we probably have a, skip the, that would be the 5 right there. Next door, and oh yeah, there it is as the half step. That makes sense. We have another whole step here, 6, because a Lydian scale is going to be like the reverse of a major scale. Instead of having 3 whole steps and then 4 whole steps, we have 4 whole steps and then 3 whole steps. So 1, 2, 3, or I'm sorry, we have 4 notes, then 3 notes in a whole step order. So we have 3 whole steps, then 2 whole steps, would have been the correct way to say that. So 1, 2, 3, butted up to 1. Then we have this over here. We have 7 or 2, and then a half step back to the root. And there's the only difference is the 4 has been moved from a standard major scale, as we have said before. And in this time though, we don't have it in the choice note box. We have it in a different order, but here it is, available to us for a low cost. We have the we have something drawn totally wrong. Something has happened there. How did that go wrong? What do we do here? We have 4, 5. This has the old school. Oh, did I have that on the last one too? Oh, I did. In case you guys were watching, let's go back here. I'll show you something that was uncorrected too. What in the hell is going on here? This is the only one that was right. This used this corrected scale here that had the. I meant to correct that and I didn't. The one I like to use is 7. That has the flatted 7 and the 6. For some reason, I wrote the wrong interval on the other ones, and you see we have a 7 and a flat 7, and it just won't really sound that great. Alright, so I played a good one, and in place of that one, so obviously it sounded good. That was from the flat 6, like we are going to be, I think that's the one we're messing with now, isn't it? We're doing the 5. Well, anyways, so I'm going to play this back on the 5 here. You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice a soda. Alright, so 5. Alright, so The Adventures of Gregory Peccary. Alright, so yeah, you've got this this choice here. It's the only thing you get. We get darker, and we what's our sound there? Our sound is Lydian, as we went over down before and we messed up the capitals there, and I don't care. It's a Lydian scale, so that's a real pleasant one to play in. I'll keep playing in it, so let's move on. So I just get this lesson done. All right, so now we have a pretty cool sounding one. We have the we doing? So minor, Aeolian, Phrygian, is that what we got here? Well, it looks like it. It's going to be probably what we get here. So we got the root, the flat third, the fifth is ringing out, and a flat six. And that flat six pretty much says we're in one of the darker minor scales. We don't have that raised six. That would be a Dorian issue. Now, if we wanted to play in Dorian, however, you heard me doing this, where I move the lowest note there of the shape up one note. So when you hear that chord, you can think about the Dorian scale really quick and see if you can pull something off that makes sense. I don't know. Um, we've got this brown, code brown here, and so that's right on the root here. So we got root, just like hitting our harmonics there, as if we were playing some Yes or some Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That was wrong. I forgot it. Alright, copyright strikes on the way. Let's get rolling here. So this is wrong here, though. This 7. For some reason it was like, I thought it's like, it's this one, and this won't sound good. Here it goes. Look, some movie composer might be able to make that like the right thing for the scene. It's not impossible. I'm not saying you don't never hear, but if you want to know the reason why that one sounds like it didn't sound definitely down as pretty as some of these other ones, it's because none of the intervals really make sense. It's got a Lydian interval, but then it's got the flatted 7. That's kind of like Lydian dominant there, but it's a flat third, not a major third, so you kind of got a problem there. And then you got the other 7 here anyway, so you're dealing with both 7s. Everything is confused. That's just a good no. So because it also has the root, so there's a chromatic run there, and that just doesn't. It's not going to fly. So ignore that chord right there. So, anyways, we've got the to what we're dealing with here is failure to communicate. We've got all these here. What's our color of the moment? The computer doesn't want to give us one. Go here, we'll go here. There. Alright, so now what do we get with our secret sauce? Pentatonic framework here. Secret sauce in place. Kermit the pentatonic is there. What do we get here if we put the darker scale in place? We get a flat 6 like we thought. That's in the chord that we're playing, so that's kind of a good one to have. And it usually is in the chord that we're playing. And yeah, basically you can kind of remember that of your gut notes. One of the gut notes is always a chord tone that you're playing. Which chord tone it is depends. If you've got a fixed tonal gravity center that you're dealing with, by the way, just to reinforce that, that's got to remain. That is where all this is coming from. We're reflecting from that E tonic. All right, so after a 2, we have a flat 3. And what do we get in our chord there? Do we have a flat 3 in our chord? We sure do. So that matches that pretty good. But we're dealing with darker, so we're not dealing with that 2 right there. You guys were just yelling at me. I know. We're dealing with a flat 2 and flat 6. You know what scale has a flat 2 and a flat 6? Well, standard old. And now we're right on E. Our tonal gravity is E. We've got the minor root note of our pentatonic on our tonal gravity, so that means we're getting the standard effect of what these shapes are. So this is, in effect, the Phrygian shape, and now we are indeed getting the Phrygian sound out of it. So here we are. After the third is that 4. So cool. And there you have it. And the other effect of learning all this stuff is if you want another interval in there, if you want to force one of these intervals in there for some reason, you know where they are and what they are. They're the missing notes here, or found, in corresponding places all over the fretboard. How do you want to make this your scale sound? How are you plugging in? What music are you playing? So for the lighter version, let's copy this then and paste it right here. That is a lot easier. And something didn't translate, so we'll just kind of bugger those in there. Alright, so we got, whoops, that's a flat third. Alright. And we got probably a flat 7 there, if that's a flat 6. So that completes our scale idea, but our lighter scale has this guy right here, a regular 2. So what's the deal, chicken wheel? I know, I'll see myself out. We have the flat 2, the flat 6. We have our standard Phrygian. This scale here is we know is our Aeolian shape. Our canolian, Aeolian. So we have, basically this one equals Phrygian, Phrygians, potato chips, Aeolian. Alright, so we have our standard Phrygian and Aeolian. Now, stop. In the name, there is something here. But I don't want to make this lesson too long. So I'm just going to tell you this. I'm just going to tell you something here. Anytime you see Aeolian, you are what scale is one note away from Aeolian? And what scale is one note away? Remember a little bit back we got to Ionian? Well, whenever you get to these Aeolian shapes, or actual Aeolian scale, anytime you get to the Aeolian scale and the Ionian scale, you're one note away from harmonic, respectively. With the major scale, you're one note away from harmonic major, you're one note away from harmonic minor. And you can find that with this Aeolian scale by moving this root down. It's always going to be the same notes, but I've got a lesson on it coming up. How about that? So we're going to leave that for a lesson coming up. How to turn Aeolian into harmonic minor with just thinking about one note. So that's a big option you have here with just this chord shape. So you can see definitely the shape is a plug-in chord, a plug-in harmony system, or a chord, to all modes, and I was gonna make a joke there that it's totally stopped my mind. This is how terrible my brain is. But only people from my city would know the joke. So sorry. So it's like a jingle, an old commercial jingle. You had to be Gen X. You had to be my city. I don't want to ruin this lesson for everybody else. Okay. So, um, all modes. All modes. So sorry. All modes. And put it in the comments if you just by that jingle you know where I was going and you know maybe you know what city I'm from. But anyways, okay, sorry. Um, the what do we have here? This is the flat six, yeah. So you get all the modes plus harmonic major and harmonic minors. What we're trying to say here. So luckily though, back to when we got back to dominant here. That's the last one. Why do I have? Oh, that was the create sheet. Okay, so good. We just got one more to go here, and the lesson's over. All right. In case you've been playing hooky at work and you really got to go. All right. So flat 7 here, 4, 6, and 2. So what are you seeing here? I'm seeing a fricassean turtle. I'm seeing 2, 4, and 6. So it's kind of strange. There's a lot of we'll see. What really will make the difference is once we create our scales, we'll see what the nature of the major scale gives us. Our two possibilities. And what am I thinking of right off the bat? What are my possibilities? Well, here we've got a flatted 7, so we're kind of like in either going to deal with minor or dominant. That's what that tells us right off the bat. And we've got this right here, like dominant 13. Are we dealing with a sus7 chord? Because we have a 4 there and a flatted 7. That's like a sus4 with a 9 and a 13. Right? So there's some, I think some other possibilities will pop up. Let's populate. Let us pray. Let's populate our pentatonic cheat code scale here. Our cheating framework is in cheating framework 9000 installed. All right. So those are the new AI aliens I hired. All right. So what do we got here? If I use the darker scale makes me scared. We're down there, but we want to be up here. A flat third is going to be after the 2, right? A major third that we're not going to play. That's our choice box there, so now we know what that is. And we have a 4 then, 6. The next is going to be a 7, but we're down here, so we have a flatted 7. Same as our root down below. And then after flat 7 is going to be a root. All right, so and then our missing after a 4 is a 5. So there's our scale that we're going to get with this. This would be like playing this. Alright, so that's what we got. So we got with a 6, and so I'm playing this. Well, nicely paired with that flat 7 is our flat third cheese here. In all the minor chords in the major scale are paired with that flatted 7. So that's what we've basically suggested here, a minor chord, something to go over a minor chord. there's our minor chord melody. Let's ring in the new year here with this. So here I am treating it like a minor. There's that flat third right here. That's like the deciding note. It really pins this into minor. Alright, sorry for the church organ so long. I had wanted to, well, let's put that, I shouldn't have shut that off. Please welcome in the bride and groom. Sorry, alright. So, major. That's minor, but we'll go back to major. That third to root, 4-3 root. Minor. Major. Alright, so you can see that, while we were doing, we don't have to fill in the lighter scale. We can see that if we just add in the lighter, now that we know that, we just do this. We could get the major third in there. That's what makes this particular one on this flat 7 so handy and so much more useful than that one that was just a half step up like we experimented with a couple minutes ago. We've got this basically a switch from major into minor as long as we are holding the root. And that the neat thing about that is we get this one whenever we're. Sorry, it got so dark in here. I didn't even know. Let's turn on a light here. It's kind of dark out. I better do something outside. Get my stuff done. All right. So we're almost done with this lesson. We have this here. It's convenient to put your thumb up here, and you get the root above, and you get the thirds down here. So wherever you are, you want to play in something against C. Like those two together. Those are two different worlds, two different keys, and I like that, and I use them in the song that I'm going to link below. So you can check that out to see some of these chords in action. And the point of that is that I linked, because these chords sound so good together. As long as you put these together, if you like make it look like a loop of music that's in a sensible um, footprint, meaning like a time frame. So like 4 bars of a chord, you're entitled to go wherever you want. You don't have to stay in a key to sound good. As long as you go there, all the instruments follow with some kind of trajectory into the new tonal area. Sounds like you meant to do it, especially if there's some relationship there. Even if they're distant, a lot of times there's relationships that are still available that will glue these progressions together, that are basically switching keys or modulating, you might even call it. So when that happens, then you can experiment with playing a solo where you switch from key to key. I can tell you how to do that on here. You can put a request in the comments for that kind of lesson. And if you hear what I was playing in the song, you can ask me to do a lesson on the on how I soloed over the two different chord. Everything in E. Well, everything was E to C actually, but like I just played. But anyways, yeah, some strange movements there, but all worked out good, and I can do a lesson on that. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe, but we're at the end of the lesson, so you already know all that anyways. So hit all the buttons so that this channel can keep growing. Hopefully it keeps growing. It's not really growing, but hey, it is what it is. And thank you guys that do watch all the way to the end. I really appreciate you guys. Leave a comment, say hello. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. We'll see if my new hotkeys for off work just fine. Take it easy, everybody.